Rollins. So can we just put our hands together for them? And Shreya especially has a friend that has, accompanied her here today. So I want to bring forward Shreya. Immediately we're getting started.
So hello everyone, my name is Shreya. I am the Assistant Branch Manager at RBC here in Sydney, and I have the pleasure today about talking to you about some fraud, some scams that commonly happen in Canada, happen in Nova Scotia. We see a lot of them happen with newcomers, new families, students that come to Canada as well. So we just want to kind of touch up upon them so that you are aware and you can protect yourself better. So just to kind of give you an idea how common fraud is in Canada, it's estimated that Canadians roughly lose $531 million in just 2022 due to scams and frauds. So that's how common it is, that's how big it is, and you'd be surprised how many people fall for it. Nearly half of Canadians have fallen for a scam at some point in their life, and it's amounts that are small and big, but for some people it's life-changing as well. So to talk about how does fraud really happen? Fraud essentially happens when information is compromised. Sometimes you have a role to play in it, sometimes you don't. So if your pins are compromised, your information, addresses, phone numbers, things like that get compromised, you don't necessarily think much about it, but that could lead to something bigger. So I want to talk about a couple different topics. So one is passwords. So we're in a digital age. Everyone does online banking, online shopping. We're always on our phones. But we also sometimes tend to not have the best security features in place. Something I've been guilty of in the past is having the same password for everything. From online shopping to my online banking, everything had same passwords because it was just easier to remember. So that's something you want to think about, is you do not want to have the same passwords for, say, your Amazon channel as well as your online banking, because, for instance, if one of those platforms gets compromised or hacked, or they have a data breach, your password is suddenly out there and now they can log into anything and everything you can. So that's definitely a number one best practice, to not have a same password across the board. I know it's a big ask because it's hard to remember a lot of things, but rather be safe than have that compromised for sure. Again, being very careful with the cards. So physical cards itself are easy to scam. What they do is they do something called skimming, where if your card is at a machine that is not an actual machine, they sometimes have inbuilt readers in them. It's hard to gauge what kind of a machine is like that, but just as a best practice, if, say, you're at a tiny convenience store that has a little ATM in it with no markings on it, you might not want to use it. If it's a large financial institution's ATM, you're okay, but you don't want to use something that doesn't look okay, right? So just be careful about where you're using your card, who you're handing it to. Be aware of where your card is at all times, because even if you temporarily lose it, someone could make a copy of it and then give it back to you. So anytime you lose your card, it is important to inform your financial institution of that and get a new one issued as soon as possible. Some other things I want to talk about is identity theft. So identity theft is huge in Canada. What that is someone impersonating you. So if you get a call from someone saying, we're from the bank, we just need to verify we have the right address for you, could you tell us that? And you might not think anything of it and you'll tell them. Something as basic as someone having your first and last name, your address, and your date of birth is enough to do a credit application in Canada. Just with that information, they could go online and then apply for a credit card in your name, use that credit card, and have it on your credit bureau. So something as tiny as that, you don't even think about, oh, it's just my address or just my date of birth, right? But just that much is enough for a credit application in Canada. So you want to be very careful about who that information is shared with, especially if it's over the phone, over an email. Any financial institution, like I'm from RBC, Ron's from Scotiabank, I'm sure he can confirm that too. No bank will ever give you a call and say, can you confirm your address to it? Never will that happen. We'd never ask for information that is sensitive over the phone. Unless you are speaking with an advisor you've previously met and it's a conversation, that's a different thing. But you will never just get a general call to confirm or update details. We spoke about some debit and credit cards and how to protect them. For online banking, or for generally using online or the internet, you want to create unique passwords for different sites. Most websites these days have something called multi-factor authentication, where even after you put in your username and your password, they ask you to do a second step of verification. Whether it's a personal verification question, whether it's sending yourself a text or something like that, it's always good to exercise that option wherever it's offered. I know it's an additional step and it's not always convenient because when it's you yourself logging in, you don't want to go through that hassle. But if your password's compromised, someone could maybe have your password, but if they don't have your phone or they don't know your security answer, they can't get in. So it's worth doing that second step. So anywhere, not just for banking, but anywhere that offers you a multi-factor authentication option, 100% take that. Okay? When you're online, don't click on links that you don't know where they lead to. A lot of times when you're scrolling Facebook, you'll see an ad saying, enter into a lucky draw and you'll win a $100 gift card. And you'll think all they're asking for is your name and email, but that's how what they end up doing is send you an email saying, confirm your registration, you click on a link and your phone is hacked. It's as simple as that. And when you start it, all you're thinking about is, oh, it's just my name and my email, and I might win a $100 gift card, so why not? But don't do that. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably isn't, right? So trust your gut, don't click on links, be suspicious, don't give out passwords, don't put in any information anywhere that you feel is not necessary. Always avoid providing your personal information or your financial information, and always back up your files and everything in a secure location in case your phones or any other devices that you use do get hacked. And it's always a good idea to have some sort of antivirus. Most devices now come inbuilt with one, but if you don't have one, it might be something good that you want to do. On social media, a lot of things that also happen is things like quizzes and surveys, right? You get these quizzes saying, what TV character do you think you are? And you're just like, this is for fun, but those links end up embedding viruses in your phone and in your devices, where after you're done with the quiz, you close out the app, now you're logging into your bank and they can see what password you're putting in, right? And that happens more often than you think about it, and it will compromise your online banking. And by the time you find out, more than likely you're out of some money. And that's not coming back in most cases. Okay? Of course, if you ever get text, that's also a very common thing that happens these days. You'll get a text saying you won something or you need to register for something. One I got this morning was that Canada Post tried to do a delivery, but they were unsuccessful. Please click here to verify your address. Don't do that. Canada Post or any company like that will never send you a text to verify anything like that. If they're trying to attempt a delivery to your address, they have your address. That's how they attempted it, right? So they don't need you to verify it. If you do still have a feeling that, okay, maybe this would be legitimate, go to the source. If you know you ordered something, go to the source and see there what it says. Is it in delivery? Is it not? Is it in progress? Always go to the source instead of clicking on those links. Like even if you get a call from the bank and you're confused as to, I don't know if this is a legitimate call or not, Best practice is hang up and call your bank back yourself. When you're calling the number at the back of your debit card, every bank has that, it's a Canadian requirement. Your debit card and your credit card both will have a number for your bank at the back of it. Hang up and call them back. That way at least you know that you for a fact are speaking to your bank and not just to someone trying to scam you. And sometimes this happened. I've called a client and they've said, I don't know if you're real or not, and they've hung up on me. And I'm like, I am so happy that you did that. A little hurt, but so happy that you did that, because the next time someone else calls you and who's actually trying to scam you won't be able to, right? So always do that. Don't respond to texts, don't respond to emails that you're not expecting, that don't look right. Just trust your gut. It's always better to be as extra safe, even if you end up having to call back and staying on hold with your bank for 30 extra minutes, but it's worth it. Okay. Another thing that we've seen a huge rise of, especially here, is check fraud. So we're getting a lot of fraudulent checks that people are being issued. Some of that comes from job scams. So being an immigrant myself, first thing I did when I came here, I was like, I need a job, right? And you're looking everywhere, you're applying everywhere. A lot of jobs nowadays, due to digital and technology, are work from home. So you're trying to find a job where you can work from home. They'll say it's an administrative assistant. We'll send you a check for like $2,000. You go out and buy, your computer and everything, and whatever's left, you send us back. So you do just that. They send you a check, you deposit it in your online banking. It is held for 5 days, but you don't have 5 days. So you go out shopping the next morning, you do your shopping, return the rest of the money via e-transfer to them. 4 days later, the check bounces. So now you have equipment in your house that maybe you can return, but you sent an e-transfer and that money is not coming back, right? So that's what they rely on. They will send you more than they say they're supposed to, so that you send them the extra back, because they know the check is going to bounce. So the average time for a check to be negotiated in Canada is 5 business days for a Canadian dollar check, right? So 5 business days is a long time. And usually when they send you a check like that, they will keep pushing you that it's urgent, you don't have 5 days to wait. So you do the purchase now, but the check will clear and you'll have your funds later. But lo and behold, you don't, right? So if you ever receive a check that you're not confident about, or it's coming from someone you've never received a check from before, it's always a good practice to come into a branch. You can speak with the teller, you can show them the check. More than likely they're able to tell you. If you yourself feel you're not 100% sure, you can actually ask us and we will put a hold on it for you, so that you don't use those funds, or just straight up tell them, I will deposit it, but I want to wait the 5 days till the funds clear, because I don't have them in my account right now. So when you deposit a check, there's no guarantee that you have those funds till the check hasn't cleared. So that's very important about what you deposit, because at the end of the day, when that check bounces, the bank will ask you for answers, not the issuer, because it's you that brought it to the bank and negotiated it, right? So checks are very suspicious. I know it's a very digital age, but still in today's day, Canadian banks still process over 1 billion checks a year. So a lot's moved digital, but checks are still there, and they're easy to fraud people with, because they know there's a 5 business day hold on them. We did touch upon job scams. A lot of them also now, because they realize that people are being educated about checks, they will now start doing e-transfers. So they will send you an e-transfer, tell you, oh, we sent extra by mistake, and can you send the rest back to us? When you send the rest back to them, that's your money gone to them, but their e-transfer hasn't deposited in your account yet. So e-transfer best practice, I always recommend to have auto deposit on your phone, on your online banking, whoever you bank with. Every bank offers an auto deposit option. So what that is say for instance, I was sending you money. If you have auto deposit on, as soon as I hit send, that money is gone from my account and it's in your account. You don't have to accept it, you don't have no security questions, no answers, nothing like that. So now if I reach out to you saying, oh, can you send it back? The only way I'm getting it back is if you actually send it. But what they do when they're trying to scam you is, if you don't have auto deposit, they'll send it, they'll hope that you don't accept it before you send the money back and cancel it. So you... No, of course.
So if you
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it go directly to your
Mm-hmm.
Can that be a problem to you with CRA or with the government?
So, yes and no. I mean, that's a gray area depending on where the funds are coming from. But if the funds have been cleared in the sender's account, that's the only way they can send it to you. So, if I have funds in my account, that's the only way I can initiate any transfer. So, once the money has gone from my account to your account, you're no longer liable for the source of it because the fraud happened before it reached you,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So, as long as the funds are cleared in your account, you should be okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So it won't be my own fault.
Exactly.
If anybody sends money to because I'll spend it, of course.
That is correct.
Yes.
However, there's other aspects to it which I will want to touch upon as well.
Okay.
Which with e-transfers, another thing we're seeing happening a lot is someone saying, "Oh, you send me money and then I'll send it out to someone." So I actually met with this gentleman, and he said he has a friend in his home country that runs a business. And because he runs a business in that country for Canadian clients, he can't accept money directly. So what this person was doing was accepting money from local people here on his behalf, taking a cut from the money and then sending it out. So one, that is not allowed. So with any personal bank account, you cannot be operating it on behalf of a third party. You cannot be operating it on behalf of a business based off of a different country. So Canada has very strong anti-money laundering laws. Money laundering is moving money between institutions, countries unlawfully, right? If there is actually another business that is operating in another country, and if it's legally operating in Canada, they should have no problem in accepting money. So a lot of people have fallen victim to that, and it's sad, but that's happened. And what ends up happening is it is financial fraud. It does go into having to be complained about to the police, and then they kind of take it from there. So don't accept e-transfers from someone you don't know. Don't send e-transfers to someone you don't know. Because while digital makes a lot of things easy, digital also tracks everything. So an e-transfer you sent 3 years ago, and if someone comes in and there's a problem with it, we can track where it came from, where it's going. We have all that information, right? So be very careful about that. You don't want to be a part of something that could potentially be wrong. Because this gentleman came in saying, I don't know anything about money laundering, I was just helping someone. But now he became a part of the problem, right? Because he was helping someone as a middle person to move money out of the country unlawfully. So you don't want to do that for someone. Don't accept anything on behalf of someone. Don't send anything on behalf of someone. When you're operating a personal bank account, as a rule, you're only doing it for yourself. You cannot be operating on behalf of someone. Okay? So just be very careful of that. Also, all banks protect you against fraud. So if, say, your information was compromised and someone logged into your online banking because your phone was hacked and then did something, the bank will try its best to protect you to get your funds back. However, if you fall and scam to something where you voluntarily took part of it, banks cannot protect you. So for instance, this gentleman that came in and said, well, I got a call from someone saying they're from the Canada Revenue Agency, telling them that they owe so much in taxes, and the only way to pay it back is he has to go out, buy gift cards, read out the gift card numbers to them on the phone, and that's the only way they're paid. And this was almost $5,000 that he did it for. But now what happens is on the bank's end, the only thing we can investigate is, okay, so who was at Shoppers Drug Mart buying those gift cards? And for us, we'll see it's the client. There is no way for the client to prove to us that he actually gave these numbers out to someone, or he even got a call. I'm not saying I don't believe him, but I can't prove it, neither can he. So that money is gone. He's never getting it back. Because all the bank will protect you for is if someone stole your card and went to Shoppers, but no, you went yourself. So if you take part in something like that, you're making yourself fall to a vulnerable place as well. So you want to be careful about, does this really sound true? And I told him the same thing. I'm like, if at that time you would have taken a moment to think that, okay, even if this is legitimately CRA, would they really ask you to pay for your taxes with gift cards? Right? So sometimes you just need, because they try to, say big things that you'll be jailed and we're sending the police to you. They're trying to scare you so that you're not actively thinking. Anytime something like that happens, take a moment, take a break, and be like, does this make sense? Right? And more than likely, your instincts will kick in and you'll be like, it really doesn't. Right? Because why would they want gift cards? If I did seriously owe something, they would just ask me to pay it a different way. Right? The bank's always there to help you. All you have to do is reach out to them. If you do get a call like that from CRA, you reach out to us, you reach out to CRA, and tell them, okay, this is the call I got. They said this is how much I owe. Do I really owe something? And they will tell you. It's as simple as that. Nobody is going to send police to your house and nobody is going to get arrested. They try to play on your feelings with that. One more thing I wanted to talk about, especially since we're very family oriented here, is fraud prevention for youth. Right? A lot of you, I'm going to assume some of you might have kids or might know younger people, especially between, say, the ages of 12 and 18, because that generation is very tech savvy. Everyone has a phone. They're always on their phones, always online, and they're more susceptible to fall for scams, right? They're more susceptible to, like I had a 15-year-old girl getting a pop-up saying you can win a $500 Sephora gift card. She will enter it, right? So it's very important as parents or as elderly people with, younger children around you to talk about these things, to talk about what's right, what's not, to monitor their activity, especially online. Monitor who they're talking to. Are they trying to get, is someone messaging them that they don't know? Are they giving out any information that they shouldn't be? So and the fact that they should feel that trust to be able to reach out to you if something like that does happen, right? So you want to talk to them about a couple of those things. So that's a little bit about fraud. Does anyone have any particular questions about anything? For sure.
If you have a bank account, I mean personal bank account, and you're operating a very small business, what I mean by a very small business is business you just registered and you hardly are making profit from it because maybe because the kind of business it is, it's a bit seasonal.
Yeah.
So maybe you're just getting calls for the job for maybe once in a while, maybe once in 3 months and things like this. And then you, of course, maybe you do not even have any bank account for the business, and you keep depositing the money in your own account when you have anything to do for the business, but you're receiving it personal account. Does it affect the business or the personal account in any way? Maybe when the business needs to be filing for tax or anything like that? Can you please expound?
For sure. So where I usually tell people to draw the line there is this just a business that you're kind of, say, maybe cooking 5 meals in your home and kind of giving it out to everyone, and you're not an actual business? So when I say an actual business is, are you registered with the CRA with a GST number? Are you filing for taxes at the end of the year as self-employed or no? Right? That's where that comes in. If you are, even if you have a GST number, you can have a GST number, file as a business, even if you are not registered. So in Canada, you don't need to be a registered or a corporation to be operating as a business. But if you are operating as a business, always good to have a business. Even if you have a basic business account, you don't need to have a very fancy one, but it also helps you come tax time because you're looking at revenue, but what happens with expenses? So say, for instance, you're running a kitchen in your home, right? Where you're cooking for yourself, but you're also cooking for maybe 5 other families that you sell your food to. When you go for groceries, how do you distinguish what part of your Walmart order was business and personal expenses, right? But if you have a business bank account, you're purchasing something through business, you suddenly know this Walmart order was my business expenses, raw materials. So it's also helpful for yourself to have a separate business. But I always recommend to have one for sure, even if it's a basic one and you don't need to be registered for it. Do we have any other questions? Of course.
Follow up on that question. So What if maybe, just like she said, if maybe the business is not very active, for example, do you have to file at the end of the year still?
Yes, if you're making any income, you have to file for taxes, right?
So what I'm saying, for example, is say I registered to be selling shoes and I never sold any shoes this year. Do I still have to file?
That is correct.
Okay.
Even for personal taxes for that matter, if you came into, say, Canada in November, you did not work a day till January and you got your job, you will still have to file taxes for those 2 months, even if that return says zero. Zero income, zero taxes owed, that's fine, but taxes need to be filed.
Thank you. Like, I'm going back to the case you cited the other time. Money was paid to his account.
Yes.
Yeah. So the question is, if I'm to be in his shoe, how do I return that money?
So you would reach out to your bank and you would let them know that this transfer you could, but if the sender actually reaches out to Interac and says you scammed him, then you're on the hook for the money, right? Because then it's your word against his.
No, I'm sorry. If he mistakenly, I don't, either mistake or by, I don't care, I need money. If he sends money to I did not force him to send money. I did not ask him to send money.
So see, that's what happens then. So Interac is the company that all financial institutions use to facilitate e-transfers, right?
Okay.
So Interac itself is a different institution. So when you file a claim with Interac saying this transfer wasn't supposed to go, or this wasn't where I was trying to send it, or this person coerced me to send it, then it all goes into a dispute. So you're frozen and you're frozen till they come out with a solution for that dispute.
Okay, I give up on that.
So that shopping might not be worth it. See, if he spent that money, again, it depends on what the result of the dispute is. If you won the dispute and he owes the money back to you, then he is liable to pay it back to you. If he won the dispute because you couldn't prove anything, it's his money and he can spend the rest too. I will tell you though, it is not a fun process. On an average, Interac disputes take 3 to 6 weeks. Everything's frozen in the meantime. You're stuck, and you're just waiting for something good to happen.
Don't worry, guys.
Okay, Pastor.
This question because sometimes when I first came to Canada, for example, and up to date, I still pursue it. In fact, even in church, for a very long time, we pursued our account. And we did that because sometimes some people are sending fraudulent things and things like that, and especially from non-profit organizations. They just be like, oh, we can do this stuff.
Yes.
Let's push it here. So we are being careful. But at the time, because we increase the number,
Of
for
course.
people to even take the offerings in because they have to do passport, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So sometimes then we have to stay in church till 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
All of that, still dealing with that, not talking about still counting the money.
Yes.
The Lord just taking us, so we have to remove that. So I'm asking those questions because the truth is, we know that there is a lot of scams in Canada, there's a lot of fraudulent money moving around,
Yeah.
and all of that. So that's why I'm asking that.
Of course.
Pastor, I have something to say. I think there was, maybe, I'm not sure you related that question very well. There was this Nigerian, she was sent money, she got an Interact transfer alert. The money came in, it was auto-deposited into her account. I don't know if you know about the case, Pastor. It was auto-deposited into her account, and this fraudster called her that, please, we made a mistake, send the money back to XYZ account, and she was scared. She ran around, she was running around, what we advised her was, go back to the bank and make sure this same money is sent back to the place it came from. Because they were calling her, they said they're going to send Interpol, they're going to call everybody on her. But what we advised her to do was go back to the bank. I don't know if you heard about the case. We just told her, go back to your bank and ensure the money is transferred back
Yeah.
to where it came from, not where they're asking you to send it to.
Yeah.
So that is another one, because tomorrow when the investigation starts coming in, they are going to be asking you, not where the money came from.
Yeah.
So that's this thing is like sorry, I'm using
No,
your
of
time.
course.
This is like what happens in Nigeria.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. It's global. Everything about scam is the same. Like what she has said, everything is the same. Anytime you get those SMSs, I get a lot. When you get those SMSs, I thought I get some. You have a pending interact. Click this
Yes.
and all that. Please ignore. I get a lot. Canadian postal service verifying your postal address. I almost fell to that, but I was smart. When I came into Canada, I came in last year. When I came in, I already ordered something from AliExpress, not Amazon. And I was changing apartment. Pastor knew. I was changing apartment. Really, it was really my circumstance. So I was changing apartments. So I got this SMS that Canadian Post trying to send something to your address, please confirm. It was my scenario. When I mean it was my scenario. But because I've been used to this kind of stuff, I never expected it's going to play in Canada. But I thought maybe it's just something we are used to in Nigeria. So I said, this is my scenario, because I got to an apartment. I ran from there to our Airbnb. From there, Pastor knew all my issues there when I came in. So it was my case. So I just saw it. I said, I clicked. But what did I do before I clicked? I didn't use my phone that had any detail. I used my tablet, my children's tablet. It wasn't really, there was nothing there. So I clicked. They said, enter your card details. I said, these guys are serious. Then there was this card I had that had nothing, not the Canadian card. I'm not going to open an account then again. So it was a Nigerian USD account. I think I had like $7 or thereabout there. So I used that. I used it, and instead of what they asked, the cost of what they asked me was okay. The cost of what they asked was about 27 cents, so it wasn't really much. I entered my details, and the exact all the money I had in that account left. All to just $7, everything left. So I went to Canadian Post. I met them. They said they just saw the estimate. They said this is fraud. So it was like I never expected something like that to happen in Canada. It was least. I just thought everything is being blocked. Those kind of stuff doesn't happen here. But it was just a new scenario for me, and it's just a kind of big lesson for everybody. If you get those kind of SMSs, you get those kind of don't click any link. Don't click any link. If you don't. There was this link, there was this game that came up. They said I'm going to win an Amazon card of $100. Why will you just play something online and you get $100? Or even shopping from your Facebook. You see, when you're playing with your Facebook, you just see some links, some stuff. They'll tell you this laptop is going for 20 cents or going for 100, very meager amounts. Immediately you do. I had a friend that he saw some stuff on Facebook. I was scrolling through Facebook. Stuff just came up. It was a laptop, very recent. I think they were asking for, they are doing discounts and other Christmas sales discounts. It was $15. And he went ahead and clicked. At the end of the day, they almost emptied the account. Nothing came. And the shop that they were telling you there was a real shop. They will not promote a different shop. They will promote a real shop like Walmart. They may promote a real shop that you are very certain that this is a shop that cannot run. But what do you do? If you will look up, both of those links or those websites that tell you to sign on, there are security inscriptions there, the HTTPS. If HTTPS already showed there, that means it's not a secured website. So as much as possible, don't click on links. Don't give your, like, sharing the same PIN for all your cards. Very, very wrong. Sharing the same password for your Facebook, to LinkedIn, don't. It's just a summary of what she has said. So as much as possible, desist from those kind of links, SMSs, calls. We get calls every day. Even me myself, I get calls. They were just coming from nowhere. I would just say no. Why? There was one that even called me and was talking about my own bank. He said my account is Scotiabank. I said, like, seriously? So after I finished talking, I just explained. I said, please don't do this. You are too young for it. For a very young voice. So it's just the same. This scenario we are talking about here is the same thing that happens in Nigeria. So it's same thing. Please bring your Nigeria approach. You use your finances, bring it back here. Everybody is doing the same thing. They are not really in Canada. They can be anywhere in the world doing this kind of stuff. They mustn't be somebody you know. They might not be Nigerians. They can be anybody. So as much as possible, try and desist, because when we came in, we sent a lot of CVs. Our details are out there. Some links will come. Even today, I got an SMS that they are looking into my CV and all that. So our details are everywhere. So as much as possible, desist from those kind of unsolicited SMSs, mails, and all of that. Thank you. Further questions?
Maybe your phone network.
Yeah.
Like your phone network service, or they have offers for you for amazing deals and all of that. So at what point can you discern? Like, it's really difficult to know the true calls, because the truth is the network providers too do make those calls, and the scammers too make the same, like, similar calls. So like, how do we differentiate when to cut off from a conversation or something? Like you said now, before now, I didn't even know, like, when you have the name, the address, the date of birth, like, that's even enough information for them to scam you. I used to think, oh, once they don't ask for my card details, oh, I'm fine. But, like, with this other information, I'm scared. Like, so at what point do we know when to cut off such conversations and not, go further?
So ideally, you'd have to trust your gut for it, right? And at any time, if they're asking you any financial information, that's a no-no. You don't want to give your financial information to anyone over the phone. So say Bell calls you tomorrow and says, we'll give you a postpaid plan, $20 cheaper than what you have today. Just like, we can sign up for it right now. So, okay, let's sign up for it. You give me the information and I'll do it all online. Well, you yourself are going to Bell's website, setting up an account, putting in your payment information there, but at least that way you know where it's going. And if they're like, no, this has to be done over the phone, you tell them, that's fine. You give me information about what we're talking about, what the plan entails, and I will call Bell back myself. So while it will be an extra step, you rather call the company yourself, because then you are assured of who you're speaking to. You can never be too safe. Yeah.
Hi. I came in late. I don't know if this question has been asked, but a lot of things have been said about text messages and calls. I've received quite a few myself. But my question is this: how is our data being protected here in Canada? How did they get my information? For example, I opened an account recently, and before I got my card, I got information about the card I'm expecting. Who sold my data to them?
So see, that you will get that information from a lot of places. Like, just the other day, I got information that my TD debit card's on its way. I've never had an account with them, right? So they try to play on the fact that hoping you'd fall for it, because if they send that same email saying your card is on its way to 5,000 people, at least 2,000 of them will have an account with TD. And they're expecting that the remaining 3,000 who don't, they'll just disregard that email. But those 2,000 people falling for that is good enough. Your data can be breached anywhere and everywhere, right? Every company has its own way of protecting data. We all have our guidelines in place, our protection in place, but data breaches happen. They're more often and more common than you think they would be. And that's why, again, reiterating on what Roland said too, having same passwords for everywhere, right? So if, say, Amazon's portal gets hacked tomorrow and there's a data breach there, all of your information's been distributed. Very recently, actually a couple months ago, the Nova Scotia government had a data breach, and every single employee had a concern as to what's going to happen because their information was breached, and that's why they had to do more due diligence and make sure that nothing happened to them, that they lost any money or anything like that. But data breaches are way more common than you think. You could be in anyone's database. say you signed up for a Walmart account, you signed up for a DoorDash account, and their servers got hacked, your data has been breached. So it's the onus for you to be safe is, of course, to keep an eye out, keep an ear out. If you ever hear about these data breaches, they always send them out. You know about them, read up about them, and have your information safe and protect yourself.
I just want to follow up on that question, because, and possibly, of course, things have changed, because we were living in Europe about 5-6 years ago now, and so when it comes to data protection, in Belgium, to be precise, I think they have a lot of that, because we hardly at that time get some of this kind of things and everything like that. And also when I came to Canada, I think that was 2018 precisely, when I so we're not trying to promote any bank or anything here.
Of course.
We're just, so there was a particular bank, I mistakenly clicked on something, and then that went to another page. Before I could retrieve anything, they've taken money out of my card. And then I went back to that bank immediately. All they asked me was, did you initiate this? I said, no, I did not. I was, because of course, with our phones, a lot of things are on our phones and all that. Just at a click, they have access to everything. So I said, no, I did not initiate it. They actually retrieved my money back for me, right? So I know it looks like we're going a bit out of what we're doing, but I think this is also very important. So what are the banks doing also, maybe from their back end, to protect their customers and all of that? Because I think this is serious. Like, I was trying to share something with you in confidence before we started today. It happened like that they just gave this person a call. That was how everything started.
Yes.
And they took a lot from this person, for example. So what is Canada, even as a country, doing to protect data?
So coming back to your initial part, right, about how the bank got the money back for you. So again, what I mentioned, so the bank will try to protect you when it's fraud, because you didn't have a part to play in that, right? So the bank, actually, as a matter of fact, Canadian banks lose billions of dollars to fraud losses every single year, because when the bank returned the money back to you, they themselves may or may not have gotten it back, but they give it back to you as a client, right? So when it's fraud, when you had no part to play in it, like for instance, there's people whose online information gets compromised, and they'd have a login in their online banking in Montreal, but you've never been to Montreal. So we know for a fact it's not you doing it, it's your information being stolen. So we will try to protect you, and if there's been losses, we will have our investigations and try to get that back to you. But if you played a part in it, where you've been part of that scam, where you did send an e-transfer to someone, where you did purchase a gift card, then the bank's liability is restricted to how much they can protect you. So always, anytime something like that happens, reach out to your bank, because it is your bank's responsibility, both as a client and as legally, to protect you against fraud as much as we can.
All right, thank you very much. And lastly,
Let me say something about that. I think one of the ways, even the CIA website has been hacked several times, as good as the CIA is. So we have hackers that do this stuff. And again, we have a lot of us that have very simple password. I've had clients that your password, they'll just put, maybe they'll just put their name as their password. They say so that they can't forget. So many of us, we can write our password somewhere on our phone or anywhere on the paper. So with those kind of easy password, or your year of birth, 2003, people put it as their PIN password. So those are easy ways. Those hackers, some of them they're not really. And if you just go to YouTube, go to Google, just put your name. Most of us have so many accounts that have very, very low security password. If you just go to Google, put your name there, you see at times you see all the accounts that you have, all relationship you have, your pictures, everything is showing. So at times, these people, to just try one or two from your name, they can even hack, they can easily get in. So again, there's this there's this stuff, hackers, just these common Yahoo boys. Sorry, we call the scammers
Yeah.
Yahoo boys in Nigeria. There's this thing they easily do. They'll just go to, I forgot the name of this place. They'll just go there, you see emails and password of people will just come up. Very light password. I forgot it. I wish I could. Email lookup. It's called email lookup. You just go to emaillookup.com. You see people's email and their password. So people have very easy trial password that people can try and it works. Then again, always ensure your phone is locked. People leave their phones to say, I don't have anything, I'm hiding. Why am I locking phones? Your phone that you have your internet banking, you have your mobile banking, you have all your contact details, you just leave it open. So as much as possible, our tablets, our phones, our laptops, try and keep it locked as much as possible. Because if they easily get compromised, a lot of details are out there. So I'm just trying to throw more light on what you said.
And secondly, this is my last question. I would like to know how immigrants are being taxed based on income from their foreign country. For example, real estate profits from my home country I bring into my RBC savings account. Am I expected to file that or do Equifax or the filing system come into my account and bring up my statement and question me for not filing that profit gain as I saved in my RBC account?
So, yes and no. The bank does not look after what you file for taxes. That is your responsibility individually as a client. The bank does have reporting responsibilities depending on where the funds came in from, how much they were, whether it was one transfer, multiple transfers. So as per the Bank Act of Canada, banks do have reporting standards internally. And if it does have those certain flags, we are supposed to, the systems automatically report it. However, whether you file taxes or not on them is not something the bank can oversee. That is something the CRA will come and talk to you about. So the bank doesn't necessarily have much of a role to play when taxes come in.
I'll just throw a little light on that. It's trying to look for advisory before you file your tax to CRA. I don't know if you know what CRA is. Okay. It's the agency that checks our tax, is it properly filed or not properly filed. What you just said now is in CRA terms, it's called earned income. It's earned from your rented income. So I think you should file that tax. It's your earned income. Yeah, it's earned. You've earned that income. So I'm just giving you outside advisory because tomorrow you might jump that tax. Then tomorrow somebody will just check again and say, you see at times Donald Trump is being asked that he has tax that he didn't file that he has not paid and all of that. So as much as possible, I'm just trying to say what that is. What that is earned income from your rent or real estate or whatever you call it. So I think the proper thing is it should be taxed and it should be taxed. What I do in that case is I still have a Nigerian, sorry, this might not really pertain to what we are discussing. I still have a Nigerian USD account, so those kind of monies, just put them there because you still have an account in Nigeria with your card with you here in Canada. So I'm just trying to put it on a softer note.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I would actually want to shed a different light on that. Income that you earn in a foreign country is not necessarily taxed as earned income in Canada. It would not be considered rental income in Canada because it is in a foreign country. Especially if that income is being taxed in Nigeria, it would not necessarily be double taxed in Canada. There are certain scenarios that it would be, but in most scenarios it's not. I would recommend, again, neither of us I feel are tax specialists, so that would definitely be something you'd want to sit down with a tax specialist for. But if it's foreign income, it doesn't necessarily come under earned rental income in Canada, but you might have to declare it as foreign income that has been taxed at its source or not.
What will be the narration if it comes in? What's going to be the narration when it comes in? What is going to be the narration? Is it from your account to your account or what will be the narration in your account in Canada? From yourself to yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
So, for example, I don't want to call the company name, but for example, I'll say, well, in fact, I'm moving from, I exchange my car and I put it into my house. Now, since you are getting into salary of the account for that,
So the reason those are held are different. So if there's a larger transfer coming in from a different country into your bank account, right? Whether it's unusual for your account, sometimes we freeze it that way as well. Now this is again the bank trying to protect you because we can't necessarily verify your bank account in Nigeria, so we can't verify the source. But every time a wire transfer, so wire transfer is money being sent between different countries. Usually, most countries have the requirement of putting a reason for transfer. So when you're moving money from your own account to your own account here, you probably put a reason of transfer to self or family support, say your parents moving it to you. So those things are usually put in the system so it doesn't flag it that way. But if it is an unusual amount, whether too big or too small based off of your account activity, we do freeze the account or we do temporarily block it to ensure that this isn't fraudulent or it isn't against AML requirements for Canadian banks.
and that is actually because my initial question was based on I was trying to do like what they said earlier, maybe 3 years, 4 years down the line, you just say you're no you're going like internal because you didn't file the income, and so that was where the origination of the question.
Yes.
I can remember when I was on like last year here now, I have a friend there, and I just Sure. Thank you. So I was like, I can send you this money. Can you please help me make this school fees payment? He's a cybersecurity guy, and this guy refused. I was very angry. Like, no, I'm sending you this money. I don't mind even putting charges on it. Help me make this fees. And he said no. And later, it made me understand that because of tax, the income, to explain it. So that is why I asked that question, because some of us still have 1 or 2 things that still brings some inflows for us, and we bring in this money. So the fear of tomorrow now, I might need to explain those income. That is why I asked.
So you would have to explain it, right? The reason the person would have said no to you is because if he did say yes, he's operating his bank account on behalf of a third party. If you are sending me money that I can send to someone else, but it's actually your money being paid to, say, your university, I'm the third party. I should not be receiving funds from you to send out to someone else on your behalf. I cannot act and operate my personal bank account on someone else's behalf. So the taxes part is a gray area depending on what the source of the funds are, if they're reported, not reported, if they're paid, if the tax is deducted at the source or not. That's a whole different question. But the reason it's fundamentally wrong to do, and I'm glad that he said no to you, is because if they came and asked him as to why you received this money, and he said, I'm helping a friend, that's operating your account on behalf of a third party, and that's not allowed, unless you were joint on his bank account. So if you're not an owner on someone's bank account, you should not be receiving money in that account for that person. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No problem.
Hello. You said something about someone should have your name, your date of birth, and what was that again? Your address. The person can open a credit account in your
Apply
name.
for one, 100%, yeah.
But I've got a lot of calls, and they said they're from fraud department or whatever. So I now said, okay, no problem. I'll go and confirm from the bank. So I went to the bank. They said as long as I did not give them any details about my card and all that, that I'm safe and all that. So if they have my name, my date of birth, and my address, and the bank says that as long as I did not give them any details concerning my credit card and all that, so how come they will use it to open a credit account in my name?
So what happens is, the reason the bank tells you you're safe with just that information is not given out is you're safe in the terms that your existing bank account, your existing credit cards are not compromised, because that part of the information hasn't been given out. But that's why, again, credit monitoring, and that's, I think, something Roland's going to speak about, is very important. You have to monitor your own credit. right? Every time you check your credit report and there's an inquiry on it that you didn't do, something's not right, right? All you need to do to apply for, if you right now went online and say try to apply for a Walmart MasterCard, they will ask you for your information, your name, address, date of birth, email address, phone number, and those are information you can get for someone, and they can apply for a credit card in your name, 100%. And we've seen that happen. There have been people that have come in saying, I got this notice that I got declined for a credit card, but I never applied for one. Right? So you have to monitor your own credit. As I know he's going to touch upon it, but at least once a month, you're looking at your credit bureau, seeing what's happening, seeing for inquiries, and being proactive. As soon as you see something that doesn't look right, you reach out and try to fix that. And I'm sure we'll touch upon how to do that.
Yes, sorry. If your credit card is not compromised and someone happens to file for a credit card in your name, the bank is it not supposed to ask for an ID card before they can grant such a request?
Not if you're applying through online, no. There's multiple financial institutions, third parties that can do credit card applications right online, and you don't necessarily always need a piece of ID.
So the person will be spending the money in your name.
Yeah. If you don't figure that out in time, they'll be spending it in your name, and if they don't pay it back, you're responsible to pay it back, right? Unless you fix it.
In that case, where will the card, like when they print that card, where will it be delivered to? Because the address is my address, and
No, they're just using your address as an old previous address that you lived on. They're not
Wow.
using it as your current address.
as the shipping address. So the billing address will be different from the shipping
That is
address.
correct.
Wow.
Scammers are very, very smart. They find ways around things. That's why you have to be smarter. Exactly.
So how do we detect maybe such a thing might exist,
By monitoring your credit report. If there is, so every time you apply for a credit facility, there'll be an inquiry, and I'm sure we're going to touch up upon that. If there's an inquiry that you don't recognize, like say for instance, if your credit bureau says Walmart MasterCard did a credit check on you, but you never applied for one, something's not right.
Wow. Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Okay. Hello. Okay.
Talk about credit.
Okay. I'll just talk about the credit card, your credit card report. It's kind of much. Much time has already gone, so I'll be touching base on your credit card. Okay.
So there's a question here. How do I improve my credit score? I discover it's stagnant for some months now.
So I think that question will be after I have said something about the credit card, because we've not really said anything on credit card.
I want to ask a question as regards to what my brother said earlier. So, I happen to help students in paying tuition fee to the school, and this particular client having to send, let's say, 8.5 million to me, and I want to help her to pay to our school. Is there going to be any issue, or is it allowed? Because he asked something there and he said it's not allowed, or is it acceptable here to pay for third party? Because she's
It
in
is
Nigeria, I want to pay for her from here.
It is
Maybe
not.
just to make it more faster and the likes.
No, it is not. You cannot. That's why when international money transfers happen, they have to happen in the person's name into their accounts. That's why it's not allowed. I know it's convenient, and I've been in your position. I've had friends who've said, can I just send it to you? Or, friends' parents saying, can I just send it to you and you give it to my daughter? I'm like, I wish I could, but it's not worth the risk for myself. And it's going against the client agreement I signed with the bank when I opened my account. So it's not worth that time and risk. So it's not allowed to do that.
Thank you.
There are a lot of stuff we do in Nigeria that we can't do here. There are a lot of stuff, third parties paying money into your account and all of that. So as much as possible, we'll just be careful not to really do that. So I don't know if there are any other questions. Are there any other questions? Okay, I will just talk. Okay.
What if you have managed to help someone before?
Like I've said, if I say it's not a problem, I'm not really helping you, because as much as possible, like what I told him the last time was, those kind of monies, route them to your personal account we have in. I don't know if I should be saying all this here, but when you are filing your tax, most of those things are going to come up. This is the tax season now. Most of those things are going to come up. It might not happen now, but we are just praying that in future, someone will not go and look in, or maybe going to a political office, someone will not go and look in and say, okay, you not file your tax very well in 2023 and all of that. So as much as possible, let's desist from those kind of practices of third parties receiving money for third parties. And if there are little money, it can be okay, but if the money is much as possible, let's
Like
desist.
how much?
Like $5, $10 and all of that. I think those are little money, $20. Like I see people send money to each other, or maybe you're buying something for a friend, $5, $10. Those can easily fly. But as much as what he has said, it might be a tax issue later on. But I've known a lot of people that didn't really fight tax on stuff like this. So I'll just continue with the credit thing. I don't know if there are more questions. Oh, okay. Okay, I did a short summary so that I can touch everything on the credit card and credit reports. As much as possible, your credit card is the base of your stay in the Western world, in the UK, in Canada, and in the US. If you have a very poor credit report, it's like you can't afford anything, you can't do anything here, because everything here, this is like a credit card economy. Buying your car, from buying your phone, from your mortgage. Mortgages are prayers coming into Canada. So from buying your home and all of that, you need a good credit score. So as much as possible, the credit card is one of the ways you can access this kind of financial resources and all of that. So I'm going to just touch base with from the point about lighting out. So how does credit card work? Your credit card report is a 3-digit number. I'll just, we have 5 stages of a credit card. We have the excellent stage, which is A-rated, and this is from, I don't know if you've seen, you can check your credit score somewhere. If you go to your phone app, if you have your mobile app or from your banks, you could just go to where you can check your credit score. I don't know if anybody has done that before. That was what she was trying to explain. That you should always, because I'm trying to build my credit score. So as much as possible, I'll just look at where it is, if it has improved. Because the first thing is for you to get a credit card. The purpose of getting a credit card is not just because of your spending. It's because you have to build a credit report, build a credit score in Canada. It's very essential to have a credit card. I've seen a lot of people, new immigrants coming in, they'll tell you they don't need credit card, they have their debit card, they go to the bank. We've asked several people, do you want a credit card? Say, no, I want a debit card where I can easily debit for my money I have. Because credit card is money you don't have. If they want it like it's a borrowed fund, it's money you don't have. So as much as possible, it's very important for you to have a credit card, because it's the first thing you have to do coming in here, because you have to build a credit report. I went to buy a TV. I just walked into Best Buy, and I told them I wanted this TV. They said, I wanted to pay for it. They said, no, they can give me and I'll pay over 12 months. So I accepted, and they ran my credit stuff, and it was okay. After they ran my credit stuff, I went straight to my app, and I saw that they've done a check. Then again, I'll talk about all of this. Then again, we have 5 scores, 5 different stages of a credit card. We have the excellent, we have the very good, we have the good, the fair, and the poor. Let me call them. A is the excellent, B is very good, C is good, then D is fair, and E is poor. A, you can only get credit facility when you have A, B, and C. When you have A, B, and C, and A, B, and C is from 900 to 789. The score is from 900 to, so for the first, which is A, I don't know if you're taking note, A is 833 to 900, that is excellent. You can get good credit, you can get good credit, you can get good mortgage rates. There are some credit scores that will give you good mortgage rates compared to other credit scores. There are some things that some banks can do for you with a very excellent credit score. If you have a very poor, a middle credit score, your interest rate for your mortgage might not be very okay. So we try and advise people, as you've just come in, try and get a credit card and start building your credit score. So we have the excellent, which is from 833 to 900, fantastic. Then we have the 790 to 832, that is just very good, that is the B. Then we have the 749 to 789, that is good, that is the C. That is the cutoff point. From A to C, you can get credit facility, you can get mortgage, you can get a lot of stuff with that, but from fair starts from, which is the D, it starts from 693 to 742. I'm starting again, 693 to 742. The first one was the C rated is 743 to 789. Then from 693, you can't get anything. If you walk into a car shop, if you get any of those stuff, you might not be able, they'll just tell you that your credit score came failed. So that you will not get what we are trying to avoid here. Then again, your credit score is calculated using formula based on your credit reporting agency. We have two credit reporting agencies. We have Equifax, then we have the TransUnion. Those are the two credit agencies that do our credit report. I'll tell you what you need to do in case you have issues you have to investigate. You have to query, maybe you have something, you have a scenario, so I'll still use that scenario as a live scenario to you. So with that kind of, you can query this agency, maybe like what you said, or maybe you bought something from Bell and at the end of the day it was returned and you're fighting for the tax, for the charge, and they went to report it to collections. Because if your money, if anybody's having issue with you, any corporate agency is having issue with you, once they take it to collection, it's to impact negatively on your credit score. So I'm just trying to, let me not diverge from what I have here. How is credit card calculated? It is important to know exactly how your credit card will change based on your actions you take. Factors that may affect your credit score include, how long have you had this credit? How long has his credit been in your report? Do you carry large balances in your card? I will explain with how much you have. I'll just give the real figures. I'll give you real figures. But if you regularly miss payment, have you missed payment when it's due time, your due date? All those things are going to impact your credit score. What are your outstanding balance? What percentage is left on how much you are owing on your credit card? Being close, are you too close to your limit? Okay, let me explain again. Let me assume that you are given a credit card for $1,000. I think that's the minimum they give to new immigrants in some banks. You are being given $1,000 as your credit card, as your credit limit. That 1,000 is what we call the credit limit of that card. It's the credit limit, it's the highest limit. For you to have a fantastic score or good usage of your credit card, as much as possible, try and stay, don't go to the end limit. Don't spend $900 out of the 1,000. Don't spend 700 out of that amount. I'll tell you what you need to do in case you spend, what you need to do and how to manage that. Don't spend let me say I have $1,000 credit. I'm spending just $100. It's not too good for my credit report. So it's been believed, it's been expected that you should spend like 600 and 500 as much as possible. Then again, the number of times you've queried your credit report. What I mean queried your credit report, let's assume you want to buy a car. You go from this shop to the next shop, from the next shop to Best Buy, you want to buy a TV. From there, these guys are hitting your credit score. They are hitting it. I have somebody that came. A month before then, it was A-rated. And when he came, it's not D. So he was asking what happened. I said, just go to your credit score, go to your app. And when he went there, he saw a lot of places he was not even ready to even do any business with. Walmart, I'm not using Walmart as an example. Said they're giving you a gift card. Definitely, you just came here, you don't have a job. It's going to come negative. So they've done a credit search on you. They've hit your credit report. That's gone to credit bureau. So if you have so many hits on your credit card, if you have so many hits, all these things are called hits. If you have so many hits, there's something called hard hit and soft hits. But I was explaining, I just tried to get there. All these hits on your credit card is going to impact negatively on your credit score. It's been seen that they've just reported to the bureau, to Equifax and TransUnion, that this guy is going around. He has credit issues. He's going around asking for loans. So that's what you going from one car shop to the next car shop, to Walmart, to going around accepting credit card from different people, going to the bank to ask for, going to the bank to ask for a credit card, they will hit your credit score. So when you go from one bank to, when you go to many banks asking for credit card, maybe Scotiabank will not give you credit card, you now go to ROBC. From there, ROBC, they said no. You now go to CIBC, they said no. You now go to Credit Union, they said no. And my brother will have, you already have 4 hits on your credit card. So as much as possible, we should avoid going around. It's not like a summary, but I will just, then again, the type of credit you are using, if your credit report has gone to collection agency, maybe you are dragging amount with somebody. You are dragging, I have a friend that he booked a spa. He booked to attend a spa, but he didn't go, he didn't show. Those guys sent the bill to his house. They sent the bill, no show. Because yeah, you cannot really run. Like when I knew I cannot really run was this. I bought my car from a Nigerian. We never went to I didn't buy from a car shop. I bought from a Nigerian. And I just believe my details are not anywhere. I was just in the house, I saw a mail come in and they had my detail. I bought an Honda car. My details came that they gave me my full details, my address. How did the car company know where I'm staying, know my name, know the details of my car? I wasn't the one that bought that car from the car company, from Honda. I wasn't the one. That car was bought years ago, but I know I cannot really run. So our details are very well exposed everywhere. So when you are owing any money from anybody, owing maybe like that spa I talked about, the lady said she was not going to, that she never went, that she didn't show, that she was not having the bus to go for the spa session, and they already sent the bill. So when she came visiting and I started looking at her, I said, you would have just paid that $53. You would have just paid that $53. Because now they sent it to collections. When it goes to collections, it's hitting your credit score very serious. So as much as possible, if we have issues with any corporate institution with an amount you are owing, please just at first just pay. Because when they take it to collections, it will be very hard for you to remove. You can actually remove it by calling TransUnion or Equifax.
I'm sorry. How long does it take for it to go to collection?
Okay, they will be calling you. Those people will call you. They will call you that these things you are owing this money. They should send like 2 reminders. It's actually 60 days. to send you 2 reminders that you are owing this money. Some can just send you mail without even calling you. You having your mail coming to your mailbox is them getting in contact with you. So when it goes to collection, you've already missed it. Maybe later you now settle and now start calling credit TransUnion and all of that. So it takes a whole while. So as much as possible, if you know you're not attending a spa, please call them 24 hours and cancel. If you know you are not doing this, this is not a place where, like Nigeria, where you can sit at home and say, I'm not going. These guys, they have your details, they have everything. And most times we've already used our card on the website. Then again, this, who creates your credit report and your credit score? We have the Equifax and the TransUnion, and these are private companies that collect and store those credit informations. They can store it for as long as 6 years, 10 years, and all of that. Who can see and use your credit report? Your credit report can be seen by banks, credit unions, and other financial institutions, credit card companies, car leasing companies, these car dealers that I talked about, retailers, they can see your credit score, mobile phone companies like Bell and others, insurance company, when we are doing our car insurance and all of that, you're doing your home insurance, they can see your credit score. Then government, your employers, and all of that can see and use your credit score. Okay, credit scores are used to make decisions on your behalf and how to lend you money, to know if you are if you had the financial capacity, you've not had issues before using credit cards. These are the information that your credit report is going to give to them. Then again, there's something that I'm to bring to your light. In Canada, there are 3 provinces where to just ask for them to do a credit check on you is just by verbally asking you. Nova Scotia is one of them where we are. Then Prince Edward Island and Saskatchewan. Those are the 3 companies and 3 provinces that doesn't need written consent. Why other territories need written consent from you? You must give them written consent. But where we are, they don't need written consent. Just by talking to you, they can run a credit check on you. Okay, what is included in credit report? Your name, your date of birth, current and previous house address is there. Current and previous phone numbers, you can't really hide. Even your social security number is there. Social insurance number is there. Your driver's license number is there. Your passport number is there. Your previous employers, current employers are there. Your previous job and all that is there. It's very detailed. I don't know if you can, maybe after now, maybe you can just go to your phone. If you have your bank app, just go and check. You see that you see where you've asked for money before, where you've asked for a service. You see those credit checks there. I'm just trying to see so that I can touch on everything. Why your credit card history matters a lot. It can affect your finances. Like I've said before when I started, building a credit score here is very important. You see children when they get to the age of, when they get to the age of 19, they come to the bank, and what is their reason for coming to the bank? They want a credit card so that they can start building your credit score. So as much as possible, it affects your finances by what you can afford, what you cannot afford, and how the banks can lend to you. It shows signs of identity theft. You can also use your credit report to check for signs of identity, like what she said. If somebody has used your detail to request for a credit card or anything, you see it when you check your credit report. It will be there. I wish I could just show you my credit card credit report. I don't know if you've done that in the past, but it's very easy. Just go there, you see a lot of the things there, like the banks you've gone and all of that. Monitor your credit history. Okay, I'll just read this out. There are ways to manage your credit card and how to pay on time and what to use in your credit card. I know I said this initially. Like, let's assume you were given a $1,000 credit card, $1,000 credit card. try, what we advise is this: try as much as possible, because we are trying to create a good credit score. Try as much as possible to always retain below 30, above 30% of your usage. Like, let's do the 1,000. Don't spend above 700. Leave 300 there. But as much as possible, may I advise people leave 40%. Leave 40% of that $1,000, which is like $400 dollars in your account. Then make the least minimum payment if you can't afford the full payment. You will always be given a due date, due payment date and all that. You see minimum payment, $10, $15. What this means is that if you can't afford the full amount, it's better you pay the full amount because you'll be charged interest. The interest is very high. The interest is, most of the interest is like 21%, 20.99. So interest is high on your usage. So as much as possible, you have a grace period of 21 days. I'll come to all of that. You have a grace period of 21 days that you can play with before paying the due amount. But as much as possible, pay that minimum payment if you can't pay the full amount. Then contact the lender, like contact the bank right away if you think, if you have double issues with what you owe, maybe you have issues with with a bill, just contact the bank that, okay, this bill is not mine and all that, so that they can take it off or not add it to your credit at the end of the day. Don't skip a payment even if the bill is in dispute. Like I said before, if you have a bill in dispute, as much as possible, just pay. I'll advocate that you just pay, because you are trying to dispute something, but you have already gone to credit union. So as much as possible, pay that money and later face your dispute. Those reversals can always be done. Okay, like I said, don't go above your credit limit. If you have a credit card with a 5,000 limit, try not to go above that limit. Borrowing more than authorization limit. At times, you have a credit card of 1,000. You can spend 1,200. You can spend 1,100. People do it. They say, I've gone above my credit card. It has just shown to the credit bureau that you are insolvent. You are not credible. You are giving 1,000 limit, but you went and spent 1,100. So it's not a good reflection of, because what the credit bureau is trying to, what the credit score is trying to see is, how is your spending? How are you managing what the loan you're being given to? In Nigeria, we call the 5 C's of credit. So there are a lot of things, character and all of that this thing is trying to build. It's trying to build your character, it's trying to build your capacity, it's trying to build your collateral base and all of that. So as much as possible, don't go above. I advocate don't even go towards that limit. As much as possible, we just came in, try as much as possible, pass payments through your credit card. When I came in, I was told that whatever you are buying, don't buy with your debit card. Try as much as possible to pay with your credit card. When there are disputes, your debit card, the bank is your money. So the bank is not going to see it like theirs. So when it's your credit card and there's a good dispute, you can always report it. Most times, if you see your credit card, if you check your app, after spending, it's spending, you can dispute immediately. Even if that item is not something, it's not something you know, it's not something, maybe somebody has entered into your, or somebody has entered into your card, or maybe you spend something more than what you spent. Maybe there was a time I went to a shop, what I spent was $22, and what was charged was $220 something. The person mistakenly, it wasn't that the person was tricky, but mistakenly added more figures. I didn't even know. I went to my car and I sat, and later I looked and I saw what I did. I went there, I told her that this was supposed to be $22 and some cents, but you charged me $220 something. Because I didn't really, we don't check, we don't put pins, we just tap and all that and go. So you might not really check. So later on I saw. So there on my app, I just went there, I disputed it immediately. Because you see it's pending. So as much as possible, when you see those pending issues, you can call your bank. You can call your bank or call where you use that money, where you've spent that money. Okay, I said try and use less than 30% of your available credit. It's better to have higher credit limits and use less each month. Every credit report is being seen every month. It's a circle. Okay, let me explain this. You have a due date. Let's assume that you have a due date of first. If you check your credit report, your credit card, or I keep using the app, which you see your credit spendings. If you check your credit, you see the due date, you see the statement date, and all of that. The statement date, let's assume the statement date is first. That date is coming to tell you that you have 23 days before your due date. That 23 days, if you are able to, let's assume that you spent, I have a $1,000 credit card. Let's assume I spent $700 from it, and on the first, I see my statement date. On the first $700 I'm owing. I have 23 days. Some banks might use 21 days. I have 21 days before my due amount I have to pay. So between that time, you can play with those number of days, but before that due amount date, you can pay all the money. It's better you pay all or pay. What happened? It's better you pay. My advocacy is you pay, like, if it's a $1,000, if it's a $1,000, pay 900. Pay 900 or something. Or if you can't, not that there's any issue, if you can't, that balance, you'll be charged interest on the differential. So we are just trying to run away from the differential, but as much as possible, if you cannot pay that, if you cannot pay the 700, let's assume you use 700, you cannot pay the minimum amount, which is like $10 or $15 or any of that. So as much as possible, limit your credit application and credit checks. Limit it as much as possible. Maybe we might find some questions that may relate to this later on. Credit inquiries, no credit check, count towards your credit score. Making too many credit checks, making too many credit inquiries. Maybe ROBC did not give you a credit card. You now go to BMO for credit. From BMO, you now go to 3 other banks. They are hitting, as much as possible, customers, when they come in, when we're having engagement with customers or interaction with customers, when they come in, before I do that, I'll say, how good is your credit score? I always ask, have you checked? If they said, okay, I've checked, how is it? He said, this number. I say, please, it's better I don't do it. Because if you are requesting for a credit card, or maybe your line of credit, or there are so many loans, so many kind of loans, or mortgage, or anything, or car, you want to buy a car and all that. Once we will always ask you, do you want a credit check? We won't give you a paper to write. Once you said, should we go forward and make a credit inquiry on you? Once you said yes, and we hit, that has gone to, and if it comes back as negative, as C, D, or E, from as D and E, sorry, it is impacting you more negatively. So as much as possible, desist from so many credit inquiries, credit checks, and all of that. Like what I do because, or what I did recently, I went somewhere and I wanted to get something. It wasn't the bank. So I said, I would not want to use my credit score because my wife doesn't really, she has never used her credit, she has never done any inquiry because we are the men, we are the one always going out to do. I said, let's use your credit, I will transfer the money to you. No, what I'm saying this is this. Maybe I've done like 3, I must have done so many inquiries. When I was getting my line, I did inquiry. When I was opening my bank account, I did inquiry. I opened a bank account in CIBC, they did inquiry. When I went to Scotia, they did inquiry. I don't know if you understand. So if I kept on doing that, it's going to impact on my credit score. So what I now did, I'm just trying to give you a way around it. I just told my wife, I said, she has not done this kind of the numbers I've done. So I used hers, and I all came out positive. Because she has not been going, she know we are the men, we are the ones going around checking, doing things and all that. So that's just my soft advice on how to limit those inquiries and checks. Then again, too many credit inquiries shows you are seeking credit, shows there's problem, it shows it's a red flag. You are going from one place to the other, you are seeking, there's a challenge. You are trying to go beyond your means. Something is really wrong. That is the report they are giving to the credit agency, to the credit bureau. Then there's this advisory that we are also saying, as much as possible, try and have, I don't know if I'm shooting myself, but it's not good for you to build a good credit score. It's not good for you to just have only one credit card. Yeah, it's not good for you. You know, it doesn't build it so fast. Or let me use this scenario. It doesn't build it so fast. As we are coming from Nigeria, our credit score is fantastic. Nobody has a credit report, so you can do one or two from two banks and have your credit card. I don't know if you understand. Because we are coming from Nigeria. Nigeria is not a credit economy, so when we came in, nobody had a negative credit score. We came blank, so we are trying to build our credit score now. So as much as possible, have one or two credit cards. It will build your credit card, your credit report very fast. Okay. Your score is okay, but just keep on using your card for all your purchases. 734. Is D. You are still trying to build your credit score. Is D.
Sorry, please, I have a couple of questions to ask. My first question is it advisable to have more money in my credit card always? As in, let's say my limit is like 2,000. So anytime I make any expenses, I now put more money, like additional $50 in it. Is it advisable?
How much expense did you make?
Any amount, $500, $200. But when you are putting the money, is it advisable I put more or the same amount?
For you to build your credit card very fast or very well, let's assume I try to use as much as possible the 1,000 limit, which is clear for us to really know. For you to, maybe I'm buying a TV set. I'm buying a TV for $800. I can do that. As soon as I buy that $800, I'll try and make it up to, go back to between 700 to 600 that my use, so that I have like 400 left.
So what you are saying is that you should not pay back the $800.
No, I didn't. Look at it. They want to see your usage, how you manage credit, how you use credit, that you are building your credit score. But don't go too close to the limit. I'm just trying to make it simple. Don't go too close to the limit. If you go too close to the limit, try and put the money back.
My question is, let's say your limit is 2,000.
Use 1,000 for simplicity.
No, I'm not even. Let's say you spend even $100 out of it.
You are good. If you spend $100,
what I'm saying is that if you are paying the money back, is it advisable I pay only the $100 or I pay $105?
No, don't pay $105. Pay $80. Leave some money there. Let them know you are still high. Let them know that you are still owing the money.
Oh, you must always be in negative.
You must always be owing. It's good credit score. It creates good credit score.
Okay, so no, wait. Sorry, the question is, out of your, let's say $1,000 credit,
yes,
you took $100.
Yes.
You are saying, should you pay the exact $100 or pay over?
105, yes. You know why I do that? In fact, I do that a lot. And why I do that is that
don't do that a lot.
Randomly, at times I'll just buy something of $10, $5 that I might forget paying. But if I have more money, okay, I can easily do it.
I want to make some contributions here, especially so that I can touch on this also. First, what is credit building or creating credit and all of that? With or without credit card, because there are some other factors also contributing to it. So what are they checking? They are simply from the word credibility. Are you credible? Can we leave money with you? That's all they are doing here. Can we leave money with you? Because of course you're going to need to, when it comes to mortgage, when it comes to car, when it comes to, there are so many things that you want to do around here
that you can't afford,
that you cannot afford, and that's why in some of the places that some of us came from, that's why some people are stealing money to do those things. That's why some people are using the commonwealth of everybody to do those things, right? But in this place, they don't want those kind of things to happen. That's why they are trying to create, a level playing field for everybody. But in that way, now you will have to prove yourself, right? So basically, with or without the credit card, that's why somebody that is not also using the credit card, you're noticing changes in your credits. You understand? So I'm just going to say the few parts that I also understand, and then our banker can, of course, also add the, the professional angle to it. So the idea is this: if you are overpaying, right? Number one, it's more like it's just like you appear like somebody knows that I'm going to commit a crime. Let me pay the penalty ahead. They don't rate you for that, actually. In fact, you appear more dangerous to them. That's what you are trying to do.
You can do that with your debit card.
When you are overpaying on credits. Now, when it comes to, don't forget, it is credibility. They are not just giving you, they also want you to use it. So they want you to, if you are not using your credit card, so you will see maybe drop or gain of plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, you see that you're always dwindling like that if you are not really using it. Now, another point that I want to make is this. I don't know if that answers your question yet, but another point I want to make is this. When I was trying to get my mortgage, for example, so in fact, that was when I discovered that it is much more than your credit card. So they did a check on me, and so they gave me the score. So the score they gave me now is, it's not the usual score that I can see, for example. So I had to ask them question. I think in fact at that time, I think it was...
Is it A, B, C, D?
I don't even know what it is.
Oh, okay.
But it was different from the normal score I used to see. So I now asked the person a question like, okay, what is the significance of this and all that? The person told me that it is, there was a way you used it, but what they were measuring at that point is how much you pay back what you owe. So now that led me to think about a lot of things. It goes beyond, so even if I don't use my credit card, do you pay your phone bills regularly? Or do you think that, oh, it doesn't matter, I can pay it anytime? Do you pay your other bills like TV, whatever thing you know you use, and all of that, every other thing that, Nova Scotia Power, you will find out that Nova Scotia, if you don't pay your power bill, it goes into your credit score, just like he was talking about collection. Now that collection thing is very serious because Shreya explained that to me when I had to speak with her in the bank. So when anything goes to collection, government is now involved. A lot of other people that wouldn't have known about your situation before, they are not. So it's actually very complicated. You must do everything that you don't run yourself into collection in the first place. So what they are checking here is credibility. Can we trust you with money? So when you say can we trust you with that, and you don't touch that money also, it's like you don't trust yourself, because it means that when you use it, you are not even sure if you will refund that money back or not. That's what it means. So that's why sometimes they come to me like, okay, we want to increase your limit. We want to increase your limit. The reason they are doing that is because they know you are a good credit person. However, there is danger in that. Don't ever take a credit limit that is more than your income. Once you take, for example, you are earning $500 a month, don't take a credit card of $1,000. You know that, economics now, human wants are insatiable, and the higher you think you have, the more you want to spend. It is just normal, So once you are taking more than what your income is, a time will come, either out of duress, either out of the fact that you have it, you are going to spend it. Where do you want to pay that money back? And then it becomes a problem. So I think if we have it in our mind that, credit score or no credit score, it's all about checking our credibility, number one. Then it helps you to know that, okay, I have this that they've given to me, I need to use it and return it back. So instead of you, like he said it already, instead of you using your debit card, you have the money. It's not like you don't have the money. Use your credit card, go and refund it. There's a question I even have for you, and I'm going to ask at the end of this. So, but generally, if you are taking whatever your salary is, please and please and please, even though the times that they've contacted me, I've only accepted the credit limit once.
Okay.
No, the credit limit increase, I've allowed that once. And even that one that I allowed is way more than my income. But because I thank God, I'm proud to say that I am prudent when it comes to money. That's just me. So that's why I took it. Now they are asking again for another, what's it called? Limit increase. Again, I said, you people, you are not serious. I've declined and declined. They still keep sending that notification. Now they are even sending emails. You understand? So you have to know your limit as a person. You have to be disciplined as a person and all of that. So the question I want to ask is this.
Let me summarize what you said.
Okay.
Like what you have said, just like answering Brother Lekon is very simple. Like what Pastor have said, it tells how good you can use credit. How good you're not spending from it means you are not credit worthy.
Yeah.
You don't need
it.
It
does not even help.
So because there's a higher picture we are looking at, and again, the better you use it, the way he has used his own, you can always increase your limit from that minimum of that 1,000 you came with to 5,000 and any amount. Then again, if your salary is 1,000 and you have 5,000 limit, you are not using. Let's assume you can pay back, but you are not using it to the maximum, so it doesn't impact good on your credit card. Because if you spend above 1,000 as your income, how do you pay back? So you are going to be having issues paying back. So it's better you use it well and pay back, as you said. So,
Yeah.
Pastor, your question.
So yeah, and just to add to that, I think generally it's always good. Like for example, my phone bill, my internet bill, which other bill, insurance, those things are on the credit card. They are on auto. Do you understand? So I know that every month I have to find a way to refund this, and just by doing that alone, so I don't have to panic that have I used my credit card this month or not. There are some things that are automatically going out of it. For example, all I now need to do is to make sure that those monies are refunded, and I think that is it. So the question I want to ask.
So sorry, I will still take you here. And again, make your payments auto. I do it. It's something that helped me because I'm very busy. I'm doing a lot. I'm reading, driving, and doing all of that. So what has helped me again? The repayment, that minimum repayment. If you know you cannot put it, like what I did. Let's assume it's $1,000. I just have for my savings account. I have an auto of this due date. Please, we call it in our Nigerian bank. We call it a standing order. I just created a standing order on my app by X amount of date. Transfer 400. So I don't have any. I know my limit. I don't want to spend above 700. So by this very date, return this. Put it on my credit card account, so I don't really have to be looking at. But even outside your full limit, if you know you can't withstand the interest charge on the other amount, you can just put an auto on your $10, which or $15. You see the minimum amount they ask you to pay. Put an auto on that to be safe, rather than the full amount. You can put an auto of $15 that on first of every month transfer $15 from my savings account to my credit account, so that you don't have to. If you miss a payment, it's big deal.
It is.
Goes to credit bureau. If you miss a payment, it's big deal. So like what Pastor have said again, whatever dispute you have, try as much as possible to just pay before it goes haywire.
So I have this account with Scotiabank. Actually, it's called is it Momentum something?
Plus.
So it has, I think it has some kind of
Savings.
insurance or something with it. I'm not very sure. But what the account does to me is, maybe sometimes, because sometimes I have a project or something and I've really spent out of my credits, by default, once any money comes into my account, it's not even me that set it up, it's just that kind of account. It will take a particular percentage off whatever money it sees comes in. It will take it immediately and all of that. So maybe for people that are not well disciplined or that disciplined also, you may also approach your bank that I need help in some this, what can you advise me to do and all that. But the question I wanted to ask, so that I don't forget, is this. There are 21 days with which you have to pay back, for example. So if you missed that, that's when interest starts coming, right? Or How? And the second question on that is it when you get to the point of that it attracts interest, does that help your credit score in any way or not?
Okay, you have that 21 days to play around with funds. What I tell people to do is like a day or two before that 21 days, just put the money there. Why we advise people to pay up because of interest charge, because of the interest. You have that 21 days of grace on your interest. It's interest.
Interest free.
Interest free. You have 21 days interest free. After that 21 days, the bank will charge you interest on that amount. So if you know you don't have money and you can survive, you'll have 20.99% to pay the interest. It's okay, but as much as possible, our advocacy is try as much as possible. You have 21 days grace period. I think it's enough. If you don't have that, then pay the minimum amount. Pastor, what was your question exactly?
So the question is, when it gets to the point where it's already attracting interest, does that in any way increase or improve your credit score?
It doesn't affect the credit score negatively or positively. What it affects is just the bank is over happy. The bank is over happy because they are making money from that very deal. What affects your credit score is going far above your credit, going close to the credit limit, one, skipping a payment, then the percentage of usage or low usage. So those things add positive values and negative values on your credit score. But what goes to credit bureau is if you miss a payment and all of that, you have money going to collections and using above the limit. Those things impact on your credit score.
Okay, so sir, because of time, because we have another retreat starting by 7, so if we have questions, I think we should just ask all our questions now so that he can try to answer them. So I don't know, maybe somebody can help him write those questions. So that let's just ask the question, because I know that what I'm saying so is some question when it's being answered is giving birth to another question. Let us ask the questions now so that he can just answer. We have just about not up to 10 minutes actually left.
Okay, I have a question. So is it advisable to pay your credit owing maybe 5 days to the time? Because if you have to pay on the due date, at times it takes maybe 24 hours for it to reflect. So if I transfer money now from my debit to my credit, it tells me maybe after 24 hours that okay, this transfer that you've made has now reflected. So waiting till the due date, 21st of the month, it might, I don't know if there's a way it will affect it.
Sorry, sir. Can other people ask their questions? Yes. If he needs to write,
Sorry,
let him write.
To back up what she asked. So, for example, what I do is I treat my credit card like a debit card. So basically, I buy, I pay back. I buy, I pay back.
It's not good credit usage.
Okay.
So
Questions.
Yes. And
Questions.
Secondly, how does having an authorized user on a credit report helps the individual? For example, a spouse, couples, the husband does not have a credit card, and on his wife's credit card, she makes him an authorized user. Does that history?
No.
Okay.
It's to the wife. That account is tied to the wife.
Okay, it's to the wife.
Let me just answer your question.
Okay,
The question
quickly.
is fast. What was the
Yes.
question? Look at it.
Because I'm closing this by 7.
Look at what you do. If you transfer money from your debit card to your credit card, and you're buying, let's assume I don't have money in my credit card. It's still this real time. It's not that wait or pending and all that doesn't really apply. It sees at real time. So it doesn't, when you're transferring from a different bank to a different bank, that might have that delay. But when it's entering from your debit card to your credit card, it might show pending on your app, but it's real time. It might show that pending, but that pending doesn't really take effect. You have already paid, you've already paid.
Okay, my question. Now, going back to the 1,000 naira, the dollar scenario that you've been using. By the time I get my statement, the balance I'm having there is, for example, 300 card. So before the 21 days due date, how much do you advise that I pay back.
What was the limit? 1,000.
Yes.
You used 300.
The balance, by the time I
How
get
much
my
did you? How much did you go?
meaning that I spent 700
You spent 700.
Yes.
So you have 300. You are good.
balance. So what am I supposed to pay back
You can pay back.
advisably?
Okay. What we advise is you can pay back. I try and leave like 200. Let's assume. Let it be that you are using your credit card very well.
So tell me, give me a
So
figure.
the 200. Let's assume you used 700.
Yes.
So leave the limit of 200 left for them. Leave a limit of 200. Then you'll be charged
So I pay
interest on that
500.
200. Yeah.
So I pay 500.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think, is there another question there?
Sorry,
Just two more questions. Just two questions more.
Very serious.
Just two more questions.
No, this is what I do. So that's why my question is it advisable that you make use of credit card for all purchases, or you still use your debit card?
Please make use of your credit card for all purchases. Then again, there's this thing, Pastor. There's something that builds up your credit report that you didn't know.
Okay.
It's better you have variety of credits, other than just one product. It's better to have a mix of different credits, not credit card. You can have a credit card, have a car loan, and a line of credit. All these things, when I mean a line of credit is like you are asking for $10,000. Nobody wants to know what you are using it for. It's not a credit card, just a limit put on your account as you spend. Those things build your credit card very fast. If you are paying for a car loan, it builds your credit card very fast. Then again, your credit. I'm just trying to say diversify into 3 different kind of credit products: credit card, car rental, then line of credit. These 3 will build your credit report very faster than only one single unit building your credit report, which is just a credit card. I don't know if you understand something.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So, can we have just one more question?
Hello, sir. I want to ask this, sir. Immediately I clocked 1 year in Canada. Immediately it was 1st of January. They sent me CIBC. When I opened the account with them, they gave me $1,000 credit card. So immediately it was 1st of January. They sent me a notification that I should accept another $1,000, making it $2,000 credit card, which I accepted. I don't understand whether it's good or bad.
It's good. It's good. It not depends on your usage. How do you use that card? It's good. It's a good one.
Okay.
But just make sure you watch your income.
Okay.
Because look, it's not good that you have credit and you are not using it. Then why would you use credit when you don't have a means of paying it back? 2 different things now. I have a credit of $2,000 now in your case, and I'm not using it. Maybe because I feel that maybe my income is not up to that, for example. It's not to my advantage, for example. So the advantage here is that you use a particular percentage, at least about 60 to 70% of your credits, and then you refund it. But the challenge comes when, if you are now using maybe 10%, 2% out of it, you're not really creating anything much. Do you understand? But of course, there will be that fear if there is no income to return it back. Do you get what I'm saying now? And of course, it's not like, based on what he has been saying, which they are all, of course, true and all of that, it's not like these are just general advice. It does not mean that, okay, maybe you have a particular project now, you are saying, no, it must be 70%. As long as you are sure that you can refund it, I think that is what is very important, that you can refund that money back. And then it's not a regular occurrence. You get it?
Okay. And BMO, when I was in Ontario, offered me $5,000 line of credit, which I declined. But later, they kept calling me, so I went to the bank. They said some things which I didn't understand, but I said, okay, let me try. So I tried to accept it, but once in a while, I'll take the money. After 2 days, I'll return it back. Because I don't understand the whole situation.
Line of credit is different. Line of credit doesn't have 21 days. Line of credit, as you are debit, as you are using it, they are charging you for that 1 day. Immediately. So it doesn't report the way credit card reports.
If you like, don't return it in.
It doesn't. You can use your line of credit. You can use, if you have a $5,000 line of credit, you can use 4,000.
You just accrue more
Your interest
charges.
will just accrue charges to report negatively on your credit report or all of that. Then before I go, there's something called the hard hit and soft hit. The hard hit is only done by your bank. There's hard hit. Hard hit goes to credit, it's been reported to credit bureau, it goes far. Hard hit is done by credit card application, some rental application, car loans, and mortgage application, employment. Even your employer does hard hit on you. Then the soft hit is very light. It doesn't show to the credit bureau, it's just you. It's been seen by only you, it doesn't go far. So soft hits are requesting for your own credit report when you go to your app, for your own credit report. The business checking, maybe your business is checking your credit reports, and it's light. It's not like the hard hit. It doesn't go far. What? Walmart card will hit you. And I've seen people. I have a guy. He went to Walmart in Grand Lake. He went to Walmart and he saw that side. I said,
What are you looking for?
Double negative. They want to sell. There are people there selling products. They have targets.
So thank you. Let me not say brother, Mr. Lawrence, because this is an official, like a corporate meeting, so to speak. Thank you. Can we put our hands together for him, and also for Shreya in absentia? So I want to quickly say something before we go. We just have a short prayer and then we go. All these things that he's saying, those are the normal things, the normal guidelines. Hello, let's hear this. So I still have a few important things to say. So those are the normal guidelines from the banks. However, I want to say this. If you know that the way you are managing your own credits maybe does not align with this and is working for you, and you are seeing the improvement, of course you can continue. But I know also that all these things that he has said, they are the regular guidelines. And again, in addition to that, it's not about your credit card alone. Pay your bills as at when due. Any one day after, it's going to affect your credits. It is. Any 1 day or 2 days after, it will certainly affect. Pay your bills as at when due. Then thirdly, I have been sent BMO. They send me almost once every month. They are telling me that you are approved for this credit card. The same thing, CIBC started doing that recently, and that's because I got a Costco card. I don't like to owe. It's just me. If I'm owing, my mind is there like this. I need to pay back and all of that. So the more they see you, that credibility, they continue to approach you with a lot of. Now, another thing you need to know, I know you don't have much time, is that these banks, what they're also doing is they are selling products to you because the gain is going back to them. So you don't have to accept it. No matter for about, after I declined the offer they are giving to me in terms of credit from Scotiabank and all that, I just noticed that they started again, even though I know I'm still owing them money. But because they feel that, okay, this person has been with us for these 5 years, you understand what I'm saying now. So you don't have to accept every credit that comes your way, either in terms of card or in terms of the other way. See it like a marketing. It's marketing they are doing. So they are trying to market you, to sell their product to you. So God will help us in Jesus' name. Brother Lawrence is here, is our church member, but don't approach him during service. So you can always ask him more questions about banking, about your finances, about all that. And of course, it's going to be part of the main one, because I think in our church calendar in April, sorry, I just want to confirm. Excuse me. Okay, in April, we have total well-being, we have financial clinic, investment, health and wellness in April. So try to prepare yourself to attend that. I'm going to involve himself. I'm going to involve Shreya. I'm going to involve, there's somebody that works with Primerica. That's my own personal financial advisor. I'm going to also bring him in that time. And of course, our doctors, I'm preparing them already for the April Total Well-Being Program. Make sure you are a part of it and all that. For me, church is not just about the word of God alone. There are so many other things that is happening around us that we need to take good care of. For me, that is a complete church. And we'll continue to try our best to make sure that we do all these things. And we hope that, we participate. So God bless us all in Jesus' name. Let's just say a word of prayer as we close. I just want you to pray for yourself that your finances will not suffer. That's the prayer point. Just pray for yourself. And if you have made any mistake, pray that God will give you the wisdom to correct it in the name of Jesus. Go ahead and pray for yourself. Pray that your finances will not suffer, and pray also to remember to pay your dues, your bills as at when due, so that you not run into trouble. So pray for yourself. And pray for yourself. And also pray, if you are not expecting any money from anywhere, don't click any link. That's another thing that is disturbing us. They said, somebody sent money, you are clicking. Pray for yourself. A lot of problems that Christians run into, we are the one causing it for ourselves. It's not anybody. It's not anybody. And God will help us in Jesus' name. In Jesus' mighty name we have prayed. Let's share the grace and fellowship. May the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us now and forevermore. Amen. Surely God's goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we shall dwell in God's presence forever and ever. Amen. We shall invite him again in the mighty name of Jesus. If there is a place where you are being